guys, it's Wednesday. It's a little after 8:30, and I'm still trying to figure out a good intro. So that means it's the Nest. Today, I am joined by Massive, Hodohori, and Love. How y'all doing?
Hi, everybody.
I'm all right.
Hi guys.
Wow, Love, you show so much emotion with that.
I was
Anyways-
a little late to the call here because I fell down and like my leg was like, I don't know, I screwed up my knee. So, I'm not in the highest of spirits right now, Prez, but I'm doing my best and I would appreciate a little bit more happiness towards me, okay, through these trying times.
I love trying to gain sympathy. Aww.
Oh. Yeah, you're not getting any from me. Smile. Anyways, today we're going to be breaking down what happened this week with a lot of upsets and a lot of close matches that were pretty unexpected. We'll also be talking about the playoff picture coming up. And finally, we're going to see what you guys, the community, had to say in terms of how you think each team is going to be ranked come the end of the season with some community power rankings. But first, let's start off with our Week 3 predictions and go over those. So, Week 3, let's start with Day 1, of course, and the Majors matchup. So, for the Majors, we had Expandable Academy taking on Power Naps where they lost 4-0, proving Gazer wrong. Boosted, by the way, however, barely scraped by with a win against my team, Furious Unicorns, 3-2, which all of you guys predicted. Megs 4-0'd Bot Camp, proving you all right again, but 15-16 took the win over VMT, proving Massive wrong. Massive, anything to say?
Look, I don't know where I decided to go with that pick, but I just kind of loved their name. And like, you know what, VMT, love those 3-letter names. We got VMT, we got TBA, we got CTA. Let's just keep going with my theme of picking those in the majors.
Alrighty. Well, everyone but Gazer picked Burn, but Gazer had some misplaced faith in his team, it seems. Ghost Peppers, however, lost 3-1 to Yes, proving our whole talent wrong. Hodo, what do you have to say?
Yeah, that one was a surprising one. It was one of those matches where sort of Ghost Peppers didn't even start off right, and it sort of happened as it went along, and they went down 2-0, take down Anubis barely. That defense on point B by Yes was just, I don't know. That's something that we would need to talk about. And then they've had troubles on Hollywoods before, so they were in a scrim about a week before the matches started, and they just did not look good on Hollywood, and it was one of their not good maps, let's just say. Got full held, and then Yes ended up taking the victory there by full holding them because they were on offense first. So big upset that nobody saw coming, really.
Yeah. And then finally, to round off Day 1 in the Majors bracket, we had Wisdom OW taking the 3-1 win over Olderwatch, which while the standings predicted it, Hodo and Gazer did not, but Massive, he got that right. So Massive and Hodo both had a 71% accuracy, while Gazer suffered quite a bit with 42% of them right. So now let's move on to Day 2 matches. So for our Day 2 matches, we had Botcamp and VMT playing, who have rescheduled their match actually, and has not quite happened yet. However, all of our casters are predicting Botcamp to take a win over the struggling Vote Meme Today team. Furious Unicorns lost 3-1 to Ghost Peppers, as the rest of the talent on here still has no faith in me, and apparently they're right about it. Burn took a 3-1 win over Olderwatch, proving Gazer wrong yet again. He had some respect for Olderwatch, but do they really deserve that much? Chinese Takeout Academy and Power Naps are still yet to play, but it's pretty divided here as only Massive is taking Power Naps over them. Boosted, by the way, and Expandable Academy are also still to play, but Boosted is predicted by all our talent and heavily favored. And finally, Wisdom OW barely scraped by with a win against 15-16, and that left Massive and Hodo with 100% correct in terms of their guesses. But of course, that's only 3 matches. We still have some rescheduled that need to happen. Now let's look at our minors bracket. A lot less matches. So, Quantum Charge versus Blazing Pegasus. They took the 4-0, and all of our casters, they really know how to look at those standings. Greyhound, Solar, and Licorice Whip are yet to play, but we do have a divided bracket there, as Hodo and Gazer actually have some faith in Licorice Whip, it seems. The winless team maybe they'll get a win. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that match is happening right now. Can I get
Actually, in
confirmation?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right. Don't go anywhere. We're better. Smile. Um, TBA and Expandable Odyssey. TBA won that 2-1, proving Hodo wrong as he tried to pick the underdogs and failed. Flashpoint 4-0'd Penten Viserion, while Otter Oxide 4-0'd Echo 6, keeping them both in their respective positions. And Massive proving his stuff with a 100% guess rate for the Miners division.
What can I say? I know miners. Ooh.
All right, and now let's look at day 2 to wrap up our week 3 matches. So, Penten Viserion took the 3-1 win over Licorice Whip. Licorice Whip started out strong with the first map being won, but then they had a few problems in the end, which Hodo, care to comment?
Yeah, Penten actually was looking very takeable there by Licorice Whip, and Licorice Whip actually won the first map on Ilios. Going into the second map, Licorice Whip was actually full held onto point A, but they got the payload pretty much over point A. They just got stopped right there, and they had actually killed the clock to about 15 seconds, and all they needed to do was just sort of hold up by the payload, throw out the EMP, and they probably would have been able to finish off Penten Viserion. But what ended up happening was a little bit of bloodlust got caught up in the Licorice Whip tank, and she chased down the Diva, demeched her, but put herself in a terrible position where she ended up getting picked off, and they were just able to sort of roll the team after that. And then it was just sort of downhill there from Licorice Whip, unfortunately. So they had a shot at it. And if it wasn't for a tiny little error there, Licorice Whip maybe would have gone 2-0. We would have gone 5, and they did look better on Assault. So who knows? It could have. It was sort of a must. What could have happened here if they just maybe were a little patient on Rialto?
Definitely. So next up after our Penten Licorice Whip game, we had TBA taking the 4-0 win over Blazing Pegasus. Expandable Odyssey did the same against Echo 6, and Otter Oxide won 3 maps against Greyhound Solar, but Greyhound Solar able to fight back and tie one of them up. Of course, that will affect their map differential, and map differential means everything now that we're getting closer to the playoffs. And finally, Flashpoint got upset by Quantum Charge, and Gazer actually got this one right. I'm pretty surprised, not gonna lie. I know he said, you miss those shots you don't take, and hey, he got this one right. However, Gazer did end with a 40% correct, while Massive had an 80%. Overall, Hodo, you got about 73% of your picks correct. Massive had a standout predictions at
My
84%.
record is wrong on there because
Is it?
I was 4-1 because I got Penten, TBA, Expandable, and Otter right. I only got Flashpoint wrong.
Oh, you're right. So that would, I'm not gonna do the math now. I'm too lazy.
That's an 80% right, correct, right there.
So Massive got an 84% this week, but Gazer, he struggled with only a 52% of them accurate. But now let's take a quick look at all of our talent. Massive, he has just popped off. Honestly, nearly 81% of them are correct. Hodo 70%, Love 65, Gazer 52, and Girardi still sitting down there with that 43%. I see you, dude. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of the standout matches, in my opinion, from the previous week. So, while FU Furious Unicorns did take Boosted, by the way, to a map 5, the first team to ever do that in Owlet, we sadly did not get to see it casted Pepe Hand, so I'm not going to be talking about it, but if you do want to watch it, actually, I don't think I'm allowed to upload the overhead. Never mind, you're just going to have to wonder, what could have happened? What could have happened? Anyways, so let's go ahead and start off in the Majors division with, yes, they surprised everyone taking a 3-1 win over Ghost Peppers. Photo, I know you casted it. What can you tell me about that match?
Yeah, that match was actually really, really interesting because coming out of that match, you sort of had a new respect for Yes and how they played because they were able to sort of mess up the way that sort of Ghost Peppers normally run over a lot of the teams. Like they did have a little bit of a change with regards to how they run because Ghost Peppers mostly ran goats in stage 1 because their lack of a DPS player, or they didn't have proper DPSs for proper maps. They've now incorporated a lot of those DPS players in now, and we're running versions of a 2-2-2, and we're not necessarily running goats all of the time with regards to the configurations. And I think
I can sadly vouch for that.
yeah, and sort of Yes sort of took it to them. and they just didn't allow their flankers to do what they wanted to do. They were holding up chaos at the front line, and they were taking out their Zarya relatively well. So Yes did a really, really good job of basically stifling Ghost Peppers really, really well. So if any team's going up against the Peppers, you might want to check out that VOD, because Yes did a fantastic job of just like sort of making sure they didn't allow them to do what they wanted to do. The only problem that Yes really had was on Anubis, because they were they could have basically played for a draw and would have won the map outright. But instead, they tried to sort of full hold them on A. And this is one of those times in which you sort of have to take a look at the situation and just sort of examine where you are and what's more important, because they were up 2-0 at that point. They needed to just basically shut them down, or excuse me, if they were going to give up point A, just give it up and make sure that you hold on the point B defense and make sure you have all 6 to hold. They ended up sort of stalling and not allowing themselves to sort of regroup with their team, which allowed Ghost Peppers to sort of roll them in a snowball and capture point B, and then basically made Hollywood a map that they really had to sort of be careful on. But honestly, like, up to that point, it was really all Yes in that match.
All right, Love, Massive, any additional comments?
I mean, Yes is one of those teams I think has always been just kind of underrated almost.
With that number 3 seed.
Well, no, not necessarily just because of the seed, but I feel like as a team, we don't really talk about them the whole lot. We talk about Boost, we talk about Ghost, we'll talk about the Megs. I feel like Yes is that team. They're like, oh yeah, they exist. Cool.
They exist. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and it was really one of those things where we just kind of came out and we saw some more interesting stuff going on in that match, for sure.
Alrighty. Well, now that we've covered the Majors division, let's go ahead and talk about the Minors division. Massive, your specialty, of course. And let's talk about the Flashpoint Quantum Charge game. Another 3-1 upset, but much bigger upset this time, with, I believe it was the number 6 seed, if I'm not mistaken, taking out the number 2 seed.
Yes, for sure. With the Flashpoint versus Quantum Charge game, Quantum Charge is one of those teams where I wouldn't call them consistent, but when they play well, they are absolutely insane. When we took them last time, when we played against them last time, it got pushed to a map 5 with the Otters, and they are a team that if you make the slightest mistake, they will push you down and they will kick the crap out of you. And with Flashpoint, they did just lose their main tank Piper. And I think that's going to be a big loss for them as a team in general, and may even lose the seed in a point, because they're putting someone, Cronaldo, who is normally a DPS player, onto that tank role. So I think we're going to see Flashpoint struggling a little bit more into these next 2 weeks.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for that wonderful insight into the Flashpoint and Quantum Charge matchup, and we could be seeing Flashpoint maybe moving down a few standings. Of course, there's only a 1 map difference between them and TBA, so again, every map counts, especially for those standings, because that number 1 and 2 spot, so important, especially in the Minors division, so that way you get that bye and immediately move on to the semifinals. So now then, let's go ahead, and the lovely Sia Goalie has put together a montage of all the amazing plays that you guys, the players, have made in the past few weeks. So let's go ahead and take a look.
That'll hold Widow only off a little bit from using his own blade. There he comes. He's going to go after Widow only now. Ghost Boast now is going to be able to take him out. And now it looks like the fight here will go in the way of Yes, as they
economy is firmly in their favor as we head into really one-to-fight territory.
Right, the big problem there. Oh my gosh, they used that early. Wow, that's a great job from Expandable. You want to see there to try to kind of Traumatarge a little bit, but right now we see Bob go in and do what he can do. He's gonna kill that barrier, and he's gonna kill Cheese Nips and D-Seals and Justine, and well, Brave Heal, and yeah, okay. So Bob there
did something. He did something.
He did some work. So have you ever met Bob?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, that was just ult after ult after ult after ult. They kind of like staggered the ults together, and that's what kind of helped them, I suppose, put out enough damage over time to win that team fight. We're gonna take a look at it right here, actually.
Yeah, it's nice that we're going to get to take a look at this play from Seoguli, because I actually missed it because I'm a very good observer.
Trying to see what they can do to stall. But ults just keep coming up a line, and they just keep going off. But it looks like there's not much going on. But Manorock eats the crit. Oh wow, huge! And Ronaldo swapping off the Reinhardt, not providing
Big slam!
Speed to shatter the entirety of Flashpoint. Seeing what they can get as a kill. Only the mech so far, and it looks like another grab coming up. Is probably going to be what's going to end this fight right now. As that
Another shatter.
Another eat from Jax. Jax is eating good tonight. We're talking about that chilies. We're talking about that bloomin' onion because he's gonna eat 2 grabs. He's gonna eat 2 high noons.
He's on me.
huge!
Yo, that is actually.
Get a monkey.
Dude, I am the cutest little girl I've ever seen.
Dude, I
Listen.
Monkey behind. Monkey behind.
actually have my babies. Ping. Have my babies. Have my babies.
What?
Alright, let's go! Oh shit.
They've got a winner.
Right now, Quantum Charge is at a huge disadvantage. They got almost nothing from the last fight. They barely stalled out the cart for all of B, but they have this coalescence, and they're going to try and be aggressive off of it.
Oh, great shatter bomb combo there from Eevee and Melcheezy as they're able to eliminate the backline as Salad and Evandel go down, and now it's a matter of just sort of staggering them down.
Teleporters up. Offensive is in a very bad position right now. They're just waiting to get these teleporters up for offensive. And there it is. They put it up. Offensive, run for your life. Oh, he's going to get back up there. Oh, but the great debate as the Megs baited it out and then went back up top. And they're going to get kills right away in their favor. The Mercy, Bastion, and Moira going down. And that's going to be the match right there, ladies and gentlemen. The Megs getting an absolutely brilliant
Taking this high ground as McCree, because that's really the only thing they can't contest properly, with the exception of testing.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very hard. So here comes the rally coming out here from the members of Yes. High noon here on the high ground. Oh, testing was able to DM all of it. You see it all in the kill feed here. The DM was huge. Testing has been absolutely huge in this map. He's been my drops down, will not get anybody as Eevee now in no man's land will get nano boosted to save her life. As along with the Lucio ult here, trying to just sort of push and make sure that they force back the members of Quantum Charge as they get all taken.
Rotating the back right point.
Monkey.
Not a monkey.
Wow.
D.Va 1.
You been a mech?
Nice. Huge.
Chases 1.
There's no distinct advantage to come up, and they've been trading ults pretty evenly too. So they've been going off these big hooks, these combos to get one, and then every single time there's a pick, the team's just press W and clean up the rest of the team, and it's been really a big part of these fast trades on this point.
Oh, and just Jax goes into the hole, but comes right back out. Just got the boosters in time there. They've been using that sort of hook and combo, as it looks like Metallica is just basically keeping Melcheezy in the air. And finally, the shatter actually lands as he gets.
Getting the main tank, although he's gonna come right back. Click getting another big res, and well, even without the res, that would be mad because Triamatar says,
See
here's
ya
the ball in your
later.
face.
Well, that was interesting. I too am the cutest girl I've ever met. I too.
That was I love the additional commentary and the added graphics there with regards to some of the clips. Some of them was really funny. I really loved the hog there suspending the Reinhardt in the air for about 5 seconds. I was calling that match tonight. That was
That's
funny.
exactly what Whole Hog is meant to be used for. Just
Exactly.
to absolutely deny any chance of a Ryan Shatter. Just keep him in the air.
How about the Bob do something? Oh wait, he did something.
Look, Bob may be the best character in the game, but as an ult, he's rarely useful. So when he's able to be used like that, that's fantastic.
Definitely. But wait, what happened to Love? we have the blinker here.
Hello, everyone. My
Oh
name
my
is
gosh.
Blinker, and I'm the king of
God.
Owlet. But today, I'm gonna let you guys be the king of Owlet by asking you fun questions, and then you're gonna respond with how you would improve or change a team to make them the best they could possibly be. Yay!
Please never again.
I think I'm gonna leave this league.
Yo,
now.
Blinker, we need a
I
new
don't know to
mascot.
laugh or be scared because that's a very scary thing to
My
see.
first question is for Prez. Prez,
Oh joy.
how are you doing?
I was doing well, and then you came.
Great. First question is for you, Prez. So, you're a part of FU, Furious Unicorns.
Mm-hmm.
Your team played 2 tough matches this week, one against Boosted and one against Ghost Peppers, the 2 best teams in the whole league.
Mm-hmm.
So, you lost those games.
Yeah, I did, sadly.
Right. So, what would you change to put yourself over the hump? What can your team do to improve just slightly so you can be the #1 team in Owlet? Yay!
Well, a lot of times we're trying to spam goats compositions into 2-2-2 setups that are anti-goats. So whether it's like a pharmacy dive or maybe a Junkrat Ash bunker setup. So it's really just about us adapting quicker and having those compositions ready. Like be more willing to play dive or be more willing to play 2-2-2s that are strong against what's being run against us.
Wow, what a well-reasoned answer. Thank you, Prez, for answering my question.
You're welcome, Blinker's Eyes.
My next question is for my good friend Hodo Hori.
Hi, Blinker.
Hi, Hodo Hori. You know, your friend Razoreb said some very mean things about me in the quill.
Yeah, you know, he's Australian. He's very honest. And that was his
If you-
honesty coming out.
If you were king of Owlet for a day, what would you do to Razorib?
What would I do to Razorip?
Yeah,
Oh, there's a lot of things that you could do to Razorip.
I know.
Me
I'm
first
thinking
thing
about
first is
all of them.
transplant him from Australia and get him over to the United States so he can do another year here so he's not like 12 hours difference. So therefore that maybe then he can help Licorice Whip a little more than instead of just sort of sleeping too much. So that would be one of the first things I would do.
You're a very nice person, Hodo. I
Uh-huh.
would do a lot meaner things to him.
I imagine that you would do a lot more meaner things. You have a very good imagination there of things that you could probably do, don't you, Blinker?
Yes, I do, Hodo. But I have a real question for you now.
Okay.
Okay, so the playoff picture right now for majors is looking pretty interesting. We have 3 teams vying for the last spots. Bot Camp, who has the better record of the 3 teams. Then we have Wisdom and, no, excuse me, not Wisdom. I'm an idiot. Please disregard that. It's Bot Camp, Older Watch, and Power Naps, all vying for that last spot. So, Hoda Hori, if you were King of Owlet, who would you have in the playoffs and why?
You know what? I would actually change the formatting a little bit. I would actually make 7, 8, and 9, 10 into a playoff, into a little mini sub playoff.
Like what League is doing? Like a
Yeah,
Rush
what
League?
League is doing exactly. So instead of having it just restricted to 8 and then have them restricted into the 5, I would bring in the members in the bottom 2, the top 2 of the cutoff section, and then have them play a mini tournament because I think those games would be really interesting, and it wouldn't just sort of allow us to see Bot Camp and Furious Unicorns and Power Naps and them fight for it. They could sort of rotate spots through that like sort of last couple weeks, and then in the gap week before the main tournament starts, you have them play like a best of 5 tournament there between the 4 of them, and then have it happen that way. I think that would make it sort of very interesting at the end because honestly, the reward for being 7th and 8th is to play boosted in Ghost Peppers. So it's like,
Is it bad I'm excited for that? Like,
well,
is that bad?
well, for you guys actually played both teams really, really tough, so that would be actually advantageous for you because you can beat boosted because you took them to 5. You're the only team to take them to 5, and then you saw Ghost Peppers actually start to have a little, little gaps in their armor there of thinking that maybe not they're not the best team, the second best team in the league. So it's just one of those things. I just think that would be my way of making it a little bit more exciting.
Wow, thank you for that very long answer, Hurtahori.
You're welcome. I love to talk, gangster. You know that.
I appreciate the length of your answers. Finally, one last question for Massive. Hi,
Oh god,
Massive.
please don't talk to me. Hi.
I would never forget about Massive.
Hi.
Hi, Massive. So, you're the miners expert here. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say I am the miners expert. Yes.
Would you ever want to be the king of miners?
Sure, Blinker. I would take that title.
Wow, great! Because I'm going to ask you a question as if you were king of miners.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, isn't that swell?
Oh, yeah, Blinker, please.
So,
Go ahead.
Massive, looking at these standings, I see Blazing Pegasus and Echo 6. They're both at the cutoff point for the playoffs, and so they're battling each other out for that final spot. Echo 6 needs to win their 3 middle games and then have a good showing against you guys. Blazing Pegasus needs to win at least against Licorice Whip and maybe one other to confirm their spot. Do you think Echo 6 can make it to the playoffs, Massive? Would you want them in the playoffs as king of miners?
I would enjoy them in the playoffs. I think that on Goats, they're a pretty good team. I don't think they're going to make playoffs. It's incredibly unlikely that they will.
Oh, but why do you want them over Blazing Pegasus?
Not necessarily that I want them over Blazing Pegasus. I think Blazing Pegasus has the better chance. Granted, still, they're struggling a lot as a team, and I think that I'm not quite sure who they're playing next, but depending on that, they might have a chance. But I think E6 is just going to have a serious struggle getting to that 6th spot.
For sure, they have to play against Pinton Viserion, Greyhound Solar, and Quantum Charge, and then play you guys at the end. Wow, what a fun surprise!
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yes. Anyways, so that's all the questions I have for tonight. My name is Blinker.
And I'll be seeing you later, Raza.
Bye-bye!
I feel bad for Raza.
Oh no, Raza deserves everything he gets.
I think we need to get Raza into some protective custody here.
So after that, interesting take. I really don't know what to say. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at where the teams are now, as well as what their playoff picture looks like. So their playoff hopes, I should say. So the current playoff picture is definitely an interesting one. Boosted, by the way, is going to would be taking on Furious Unicorns if we started right now. So if the majors ended right now, it'd be Boosted versus Furious Unicorns, which, if I had to say, I think that would be probably the best matchup here. Maybe Yes versus Burn could possibly be better. But I definitely think that'd be really interesting to watch, especially for a revenge sort of match. Then we would have number 2 Ghost Peppers taking on the number 7 Bot Camp. But the real question is, Bot Camp, they haven't looked that strong recently. Do we think that they can stay in that spot? Love?
No. I mean, my opinion, no. I haven't seen them play all too much, and what I've heard is they're a little bit weaker. So I'm expecting either Older Watch or what's their name? Power Naps. I expect one of them to overtake them. I'm not sure which one will. I think they're actually playing next week, if I'm correct, Older Watch and Power Nap. So that's going to be a monumental, absolutely giant match between those two. So for sure we'll get that one casted. But yeah, we'll have to see who wins that one. I think whoever wins that one is probably going to make it in the 8th spot for playoffs.
Not Wisdom, you're saying? Oh, you're saying to replace Bot Camp. My bad. Sorry.
The replace Bot Camp, yeah. So I think Furious Unicorns are going to go in 7th, maybe 8th. But
I really love the faith from him. I feel it in my soul how much faith he has in my team.
I mean, you guys are gonna make playoffs. I'm 100% certain. Okay, so
That's-
you might not
It's
be like
like-
number
it's
like 6 or something, but you're gonna make it.
You
in.
know,
It's
that's
like
having-
when Melissa McCarthy got nominated for Best Actress. We all knew she wasn't going to win that Oscar, but it's an honor to be nominated.
I mean, we all didn't think Moonlight was gonna win the Oscar, but guess what? Moonlight, you guys won. Anyways,
Well, FU has got the best thing they have going for them is their positive differential. That +3 is huge because if you look at the people below you, Power Naps have a -5 and Older Watch at -14. That essentially is like a win. That +3 is just so huge. So as long as you can keep the positive differential going forward, I think you have the advantage for sure. So
yeah, we really keep all our matches close. 3-2s. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead. So just to finish up for the majors, by the way, it would be Megs versus Ghost Peppers, or not Ghost Peppers, sorry, Wisdom, and then Yes versus Burn. And I think Yes versus Burn, that'd be so interesting to watch. We saw Yes, they were incredibly strong against Ghost Peppers. They're consistently strong, whether it's Ghost, whether it's 2-2-2, whether it's Dive. Like they're such an interesting team to watch. And then Burn, they're like all reliable. It's not that they're nothing special, right? And excuse me if I trash talk them a bit. I mean, they're my old team. I just gotta. I kind of have to. But like,
Go for it. I mean, you deserve it after what I've seen from in the chat. So you go for it.
I definitely did not start those or anything. Not
Go
me at
deep.
all.
I want to hear some juice. Go deep right now, dude.
All right, so Merge, right? Like Merge,
Oh
he
my
thinks he's the stuff, right? He thinks he's the king of Owlet, which we never need to see again, please. He thinks he's the king of Owlet, but really, it's like if you can find ways to expose him, get him out of that positioning that he loves to take. He likes to take these flanks on whether it's McCree, Widow, etc. He likes to take a bit riskier positions. If you can punish him for that, they're immediately a man down. If they're on Ghost, that means no Zarya, which means none of your highest damage healer. If they're on Dive, that means he's on Widow most likely, which means you now have free sightlines because you just killed their Widow. So Merge is such an instrumental part of their comp. If you kill him, you can probably take that fight. So I think the
Right.
Yes versus Burn match is really just going to come down to who does their homework. Love you guys.
Edix just said that he's conditioning Merge to be a good boy. So they're working on that. Working on it.
Edix, we worked on that from literally our first match. Has it happened? No. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Miners playoff picture. So Miners, without a doubt, very interesting. Of course, we had Flashpoint in that #1 seed for the longest time, and then Otter Oxide just came and they're like, yeah, no, that's ours now. So yeah, Otter Oxide and Flashpoint are currently the 1 and 2 seed, but of course there's only a 1 map differential between Flashpoint and TBA, so we could see TBA moving up to that #2 spot. So TBA would be taking on Blazing Pegasus, who, in my opinion, they've shown themselves at times. They haven't shown themselves to be consistently strong like Otter or Flashpoint or TBA have, but they have their standout moments, and when they do, it's noticeable. Massive, any idea?
I think Blazing Pegasus, again, they came into this stage with a completely new roster than they had last stage for Blazing Pegasus. So I think that's going to be a serious uphill battle for them to take down TBA. I would love for them to take down TBA, but I think it would be an interesting match just to see. But I think the other match will be by far the most hyped match of Miners playoffs.
Expandable Odyssey versus Quantum Charge?
Yes.
I cannot agree more. I mean, you have Quantum Charge. They're the dark horse, honestly. Like, they go into this, people are like, they were like, sorry, what team was it? Was it Yes you were saying that people are like, yeah, they exist. And then they just come in and they're like, yo, TBA, Flashpoint, we win them.
Expandable Odyssey is kind of in the same boat, though. I mean, if you're looking at like caster predictions for the first couple of weeks, I was the only one who ever picked Expandable because no one else put faith in that team. And if I'm not mistaken, the only match they've dropped was to the Otters for the stage. So they've been doing absolutely fantastic, and I think they have a really good chance of making it to the semis.
Expandable also 4-0'd Quantum Charge about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So, like, Quantum Charge will be out for revenge. But I honestly think the little dance here that's happening between the top 3 is going to determine who ends up in the final, because I honestly believe you want if you're in Otter Oxide, I honestly believe you want TBA to take the second spot, because I think
I agree.
going into that semifinal match, you don't want to play them because that is just one of those things that would be something a little bit scary to see them in the semifinals, because with Flashpoint losing their main tank massive, which is what you told me, with Piper gone, I think they're ripe for the picking, and you would want them in the 3 and then pick them off in the semifinals to play TBA in the final.
Not to mention though,
yeah.
Not to mention that, like Flashpoint, right? If they drop
Yeah.
down to that third spot, and again, we've seen they're not looking too hot right now. What if Blazing Pegasus gets the upset on them? And yeah, Blazing Pegasus are going to be riding this high, but it doesn't change the fact that unless they have like an incredibly amazing moment against Otter Oxide, they're probably not going to be able to get the win there. Well, at the same, and you don't want to risk going up against someone like Quantum Charge, who you might be like, oh, they're not that great, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're just out of nowhere destroying you.
Pegasus, yeah, I mean, looking at the scores though, Pegasus hasn't won a match this stage. So
Really?
if they're going in, they're going in on the backs of the previous record. I mean, they've lost 2-1 to TBA. They lost 4-0 to Pen 10. So that is something that is very, very troubling. But they did beat them 3-2 in a previous match. So
at
I
this
don't know.
point, the only
Yeah.
match I see Blazing taking is their Week 5 match versus Licorice Whip.
Yeah.
At this point, I think they've turned into the Florida Mayhem, where
Yeah.
they're just dropping match after match. Again, it kind of has to do with a completely new roster coming into a new stage. They had some amazing, fantastic players last stage. Actually, one of them is now playing for Furious Unicorns, Pokitude. But now coming to the new stage, they're going to have. I think they've been having a rougher time. And if they do make those quarterfinals, they're gonna have to make sure they are ready. They do everything they can to just get in there and just really get in on that.
Yeah, and shout out to Pokey. I mean, he came from minors, is in majors now, and as his teammate, I can say, oh, heavenly. I mean, he's a great Lucio. He's so consistent with booping people away in the Goats v Goats matchup. And honestly, I'm the shot caller for my team, right? He's our main ult tracker, and it's so good. It's just amazing. I love it. I love Pokey.
And yeah, don't count out Licorice Whip in that Blazing Pegasus match either. If considering how Licorice Whip has slowly gotten a little better, and if Sarah DG can just sort of control herself and just make sure that she trusts the rest of her team, so she doesn't have to feel like she does have to do everything, sort of with the charges, and then just sort of control the bloodlust a little bit, it's gonna be a tighter match than you think. I don't know if BP is gonna outright win that, but it's one of those ones where you think that LW is gonna take a map at least. Maybe 2. Maybe this is the first time they take 2 maps or something like that, but it's gonna be a lot closer than you think, I think.
I mean, in the end, not include if he just not includes the first week where Otters played Expo and Flashpoint. The only people who had taken a point until last at all were Licorice Whip. The only person to take a single point of a map off of us. Not taking a map, but taking a point. So Licorice Whip, we actually gained some respect for them there. The fact that they were able to sneak up on us and get that point. We gained a little bit more respect for that team, and we could see the work they've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just hope they come out of stage 2 with at least 1 win. And hopefully, now they're going to be live. I don't know if anybody knows what the score is right now, but they're playing right now. So hopefully maybe they have a good showing here against Greyhound Solar. Too.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll come back season 3 and they'll be like, hey, we're Shanghai Dragons all the way, guys. We're going to get the win then. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at our major playoff. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Our major standings, which do include their current playoff status. So we have boosted Ghost Peppers and the Megs in that 1 through 3 spot, who have all clinched their position. However, Yes and Burn are very close, only needing just a couple more wins to really go ahead and say, yeah, no, we're in the playoffs, we're good. We can maybe start sandbagging. Meanwhile, though, you have Wisdom, Bot Camp, and Furious Unicorns, who are in that 6, 7, and 8 seed, and they're all like, if they do well enough right now, we can see them keep their position. But teams like Bot Camp, who maybe have seemed a bit weaker, and Wisdom, who sometimes they're hot, right? They're like, oh yeah, we're winning, and then they like drop some maps that they really can't drop. we could see them start to maybe fall out of contention for our challenger teams, which are Power Naps and Older Watch, who they're not quite in the playoffs, but they really are close. And if they fight for it, they can probably get in. Now, something I personally found interesting, right, is let's look at let me finish this. Sorry. So Gold Gang, who we have not yet seen play, I believe, CTA, 15-16, and Nevermore Academy are all in danger of being eliminated from the playoffs, but they do have a slightly better chance from Vote Meme today and Expandable Academy, who are only 1 or 2 matches away from being completely disqualified without any hope of getting into the playoffs. Now, something interesting I want to note, though, is that all our new teams in the Majors division have not looked too hot. Whether we're talking VMT, Nevermore, CTA, Gold Gang, I'm not going to comment on because we haven't really seen them. But Bot Camp, none of them have looked too hot. Don't get me wrong. CTA, I think they've had a decent showing. I'd give them like personally, if they didn't have that record, right? If I was going off just play, I think I would give them a challenger stance, maybe. Thoughts, Hodo?
No, I mean, it's hard for the teams who are trying to replace teams coming into the tournament. Like, a lot of the teams are either established or have been practicing before. Even if they are pre-made coming in, it's really sort of a hard task to sort of go in against a team that has been playing for a while or has already figured out what they need to do in the league to do what to get the wins that they absolutely need. So it's a different mentality going in, and then there's that adjustment period that you sort of have to sort of look out for. I mean, CTA, I think, has done it relatively well. VMT was a team that was here last season and came back in as a replacement team, but it just might be a little too much for in the Majors division. So I'm not sure exactly what it is with some of the teams, but honestly, if you're able to sort of power through it all, just goes to show that you're a good team, and you will have a hard time here if you join midseason or as a replacement team. So.
Definitely. And big shout out to Edix for making these wonderful graphics. Yes, Twitch chat, he actually did it. I know, right? It's crazy. Like, I'm so used to not getting protected. I figured, well, he just must not do anything else either. But no, he made these graphics. Just kidding. I love you, Edix. Please don't hurt me.
Please don't hurt you, huh?
Please solo shatter him. Just do it. Solo shatter Prez.
I think they blocked like 6 of his shadows with bubble. Smile. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at our minors division. Alrighty, so on the minors side, things are looking a bit closer. We have Auto Oxide, Flashpoint, TBA, and Expandable Odyssey, who have all clinched. Expandable Odyssey, of course, doing quite a bit better than their sister team has, having clinched a playoff spot, while Expandable Academy, they're on the brink. Quantum Charge is very close, and with only a couple more wins, could see themselves also clinching that 5th seed. And Blazing Pegasus, they have that 6th spot, but with how weak they've looked, it's going to be interesting to see if they drop out for maybe another team like Echo 6 or Greyhound Solar. Meanwhile, Greyhound Solar is in danger of being eliminated, while Penta and Viserion, you lose 1 or 2 more matches and you're out. And sadly, Licorice Whip, the Shanghai Dragons of Owlet, they're gone, guys. We won't be seeing some miraculous playoff run. Unfortunately.
Please F in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, just spam those Fs. Spam those Fs. Love can go ahead and just ban you all afterwards. Alrighty then. So now that we've gotten a good look at the playoff picture, let's go ahead and take a look at our predictions, or I get to insult everyone for making them and say why you're all wrong while you guys can't do anything because I didn't make any predictions. Alrighty then. I'm so kind. Exactly. I'm so kind. Like, who's kinder than me? Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at our Week 4 Day 1 matchups in the Majors division. It's Burn versus Wisdom OW. Hodo and Massive expect Wisdom to pull off the upset. Beloved, you're sticking with good old reliable Burn. Why is that?
Well, I know that Burn has been going to Girardi's fun camp of love and funness. So I know that they are they're more together now. Okay, they feel strong, they feel good, they feel like they're a top team, and so going against Wisdom, who has, I believe, either I think they have a negative map differential, and they get into a lot of close games with bad teams sometimes. So I just see Burn winning this one. I don't see Wisdom coming in and just surprising them. But it would be a big game for Wisdom to take because they need it for playoff reasons. So we'll see what happens. But I think Burn's going to pull this one out.
Definitely, and wow, I'm looking at this, and that was the only disagreement you guys had. You really don't let me make drama. Come on, guys. Come on, we need that drama. How do you think we get viewers on this?
The funny part about it is the best game I think on day one is that Meg's Yes game. That could go either way,
Definitely.
but with the way that Yes played against the Peppers, I think people are just sort of giving them the benefit of the doubt, even though the Megs are a very good team.
The Megs are also unpredictable, like we've seen that Mace strat out of them. We've just seen so many different comps that they can run. They're really flexible, which I really like.
Yeah, they're very, very good, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that comes out because I could see that going 5. So.
All right. Well, either all our casters get 100% or they all get 0%, because they all have Ghost Peppers beating Expandable, Gold Gang taking the win over VMT. That's their first matchup. It'll be interesting to see how that does. Or I think that's gonna be the first casted game for them. I think they've already had some matches. I'm not sure about that. Boosted is expected to take the win over CTA. Yes is apparently supposed to get the upset as they're currently in that 4th seed and beat the Megs in the number 3 seed. And I believe that would give them the 3rd seed if I'm not mistaken. Power Naps is expected to beat Older Watch. Furious Unicorns is expected to beat Nevermore Academy. You guys have faith in me. I'm honored.
Well,
Really,
just
I
because
am.
Nevermore is kind of at the lower.
Shut up, Massive. You have faith in me. And Bot Camp is expected to beat 15-16 despite not looking too hot recently. Now let's go ahead and look at our day 2 matches.
Wait, did I put that in for that?
Yeah, you did. You put Bot Camp.
You put Bot Camp in, yeah.
Wait, you expect 15-16?
Oh, what am I looking at right now? Can we go back? I need to look at that because I swear I put 15-16 instead of Bot Camp. I need to talk about this.
We're not scuffed, guys. I promise.
Okay, day 1. I'm looking at
You
it.
did put 15-16.
I did. Okay,
You did put 15-16 instead of Bot Camp. Yes.
All right. Yeah.
It's all right.
So-
Just yell at Silent. He's our producer. Doesn't matter. So, who do I want to have yell at Love today? Hodo, give it a shot. Why is Bot Camp gonna beat 15-16?
Why is Bot Camp going to beat 15-16?
Yeah.
I don't know. This one was one of those. It's a toss-up, honestly, because I really didn't actually know who would come out of this map because 15-16 have won games that you just don't expect them to win, but overall they've been relatively consistent against the rest of the league. So I just don't know. I thought maybe just Bot Camp, knowing that their playoff lives are in the balance, would sort of pull themselves up by the bootstraps and win this game.
All right, that's fair. Of course, it'll be interesting how Bot Camp does in what I believe is going to be their first matchup. Yeah? No, maybe?
I believe they've already played, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, they played against.
Who actually watches majors matches? Minors are the actually fun ones to watch because we don't just run goats.
They don't necessarily run goats.
We
either.
don't just run goats. We also run Sombra goats and May goats and Ana goats and Moira goats. Oh, wait, that's also goats. Never mind. All right, let's go ahead and look at our day 2 matchups. So, for day 2, we have all of our casters taking yes over VMT, but they're divided on the Nevermore Expandable game. Both teams not looking too hot at the moment, but Love believes that Expandable Academy is going to pull out the win, even though they're on the brink of elimination. Why is that, Love?
Well, if you look at which matches have been played and which matches haven't been played, it seems as though Nevermore Academy hasn't played any of their matches for the past week or so. So I'm going under the assumption right now that Expandable Academy is going to have players show up and Nevermore is not going to have players show up. So a 6v0 is probably going to be good for Expandable Academy. So I think they're going to take this one.
Alrighty then. Well, all of our casters expect Wisdom OW to pull out the win, but no, I'm not reading this right. There's no way the LuvGangster has faith in my team to beat the Meg. I can't be reading that right.
I believe he has faith in you in spite of you. Faith in your team, not necessarily their tank.
As the great sage Naruto once said, believe it. Sorry,
I'm pretty sure like everyone else has said that, but okay.
So what are you going to change up, Prez? Because like you guys came close to beating Ghost Peppers and Boosted.
All right, well, like
Megs isn't going to be a walkover. So, like, is there anything that you messed up in the previous 2 games that is going to get you the win in this one? Because I don't know.
Well, I kind of okay. So like, I'm not gonna lie, right? I kind of just watched the VODs of Boosted because I really wanted to beat them because I want to be that one team that takes the win off Boosted. So against Ghost Peppers, we were just like, well, we know they don't always run good, so I hope this works. Was kind of like the thinking there. But Boosted, we kind of handcrafted our comps against them, and I think that's what we're gonna have to do against the Megs. Is we're gonna have to handcraft these comps. And really, we have to do what we've done a lot against Pharmacy Spam, which is we're really good about playing walls and using our cooldowns, whether it's Bubble, DM, Shield, to block as many rockets as we can so we don't give them free barrage charge.
Cool.
And Megs, if you're watching this, that is what they're gonna be doing against you.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing now, Meg. So, like, I hope you heard that. So, therefore.
Oh, wow, I see how it is. I see how this is. Okay. Oof. Hodo and Massive, you two better cast that so that way I can just like. Oh.
Yeah, I've cast with Hodo before. It's always a pleasure. So I will cast it if I have a chance.
Alrighty then. Well, our casters all have boosted, by the way, keeping their #1 spot and their undefeated record against Olderwatch. And Burn is expected to beat 15-16. Ghost Peppers is also expected to beat Chinese Takeout Academy. But here we are the battle of the 2 new teams, Gold Gang versus Bot Camp. With nearly nothing known, Hodo and Massive are taking Bot Camp, while Love is taking Gold Gang. Guys, why is this, or did you just pick by the coolest name?
Yeah, basically.
I haven't seen either team, so this is more of a coin flip than anything. I just happen to go with Bot
This
Camp,
match,
so.
this match and our match better be casted because honestly, this is just people can be like, oh, so these are the 2 new teams. They don't have to go worry about watching 2 different streams.
Yeah. So remember, if you do want to get casted, this is a reminder to all of the teams who are watching right now: get your game scheduled. If I know what's on the schedule, I'm more likely to cast you when I'm trying to figure out my schedule for the weekend.
All players, if you are watching, contact your team rep and yell at them to schedule your matches, please.
Tell them to do it by tonight. Like Thursday night is like perfect time. That's the right time to put in your matches. Okay, you don't need to like get all 6 players. You don't need any of this sort of thing. Just get them in. You know, if you have like 5 players, you know, just go ahead and send them out there for a match because we'll cast it. Well, okay, maybe try getting 6 players, but the point is, please get it in as soon as possible. It makes everything so much easier.
As soon as possible. That's right. And I'm partnerless this weekend because my current partner is going to Seattle Comic Con.
Wow.
So if any potential casters out there want to try their hand at color
Massive.
let me know. Massive.
I am a color caster, so.
Alrighty, well then. English is hard. Alrighty then. Well, moving on into the minors division, all of our casters are taking Expandable Odyssey over Greyhound Solar, and Flashpoint, despite looking a bit shaky this week, are expected to beat Blazing Pegasus. TBA looking to go ahead and beat Licorice Whip, so this really means if TBA get that perfect record against Licorice Whip and Flashpoint drop a map, we could be seeing TBA move up, and that's going to be crucial for them. Now then, Echo 6 is predicted to beat Penten Viserion, while Autoroxide is predicted to beat Quantum Charge. So yet again, all our casters, 100 or 0. You really don't make drama. You really don't
afraid about that last one?
You know what? I think after their win against Flashpoint, I think we were sleeping on Quantum Charge a little bit now, but now Otters are awake, and we're actually gonna try a little harder than we did against in our last match where we ran Torbjorn and Bastion.
So is what I'm hearing is that you're doing the fabled NYXL sandbagging?
No, not at all. We're just trying new things, checking out new comps. Again, we ran Torbjorn twice yesterday. So no, I think, and this, if I'm not mistaken, is our 4th or 5th time playing Quantum Charge. Not necessarily in this league. We played them in a previous league as well. So we they're a team we really like to just try to get any matches with.
Alrighty, then we go on to our minors day 2 matchups with Expandable Odyssey expected to take the win over Blazing Pegasus, but I'm sure that'll be a close fight. Flashpoint, we have Hodo and Massive. You guys are going to take them over TBA. You think that they can go ahead and keep that #2 seed, but Love disagree.
No, I was wrong here. I was wrong here. I think TBA is actually going to win this match
Oh,
because
well,
after what Massive said, I do believe TBA is actually going to win it. But I put my pick in, so I must live with it. But I think Love is going to be right here.
I think regardless of the changes Flashpoint made with the roster, they're still a fantastic team. Like the rest of their players, they come together really well. And I think they still can take it out against take an edge out against TBA. Because TBA as a team, if you're able to separate them, it's pretty easy. They will just collapse, and they can't do anything about that. So it really just comes down to, can Flashpoint just stick together? Can RISC just get them just drilled so much that they can take out TBA's goats and TBA's other things?
Alrighty then.
I think what happened here was Hodo and Massive, they chose like the exact same teams for every single week. Like, I don't know if they chose one team different in minors or majors. So I think that's, you're just on autopilot there, just choosing the same things that Massive was choosing. I think that's
Well,
I
put in my schedule by myself into the Nest channel, and then
so it was
I
Massive who stole. Okay.
It's just like control C, control
Who's the one at 86% again? That was me. I don't think I've gotten. I think the Quantum Charge vs Flashpoint match is the only minors match I've gotten incorrect so far, and I plan to keep it that way.
We'll see what happens this week.
Spicy. Alrighty then.
Nihao Brian, everybody hates us. No, poor Nihao Brian. No, nobody hates you.
Look, we all know TBA is a hyper toxo team, but we still love playing with you guys. You're a party to play with.
Love, his name is Brian, not Brain. Alrighty then. Well, Quantum Charge is expected to beat out Licorice Whip, especially with how they've been performing. I mean, just absolutely not dominating, but I mean, that was quite an upset against Flashpoint and TBA. Echo 6 is expected to be Greyhound Solar. That should be a close matchup because if Echo 6 wins that, they're really looking good to get into the playoffs and maybe beat out Blazing Pegasus. And finally, all our casters, they're taking Otter Oxide over Penta Viscerion. So,
funnily enough, this will actually be our first time playing Pen 10. Last time we were supposed to play them, they didn't have a roster yet, so they forfeit. So we're actually really excited to play these guys for the first time in this series, in this season.
So what I'm hearing is if we see a Torb for all 4 maps, you're definitely not sandbagging. That's just a strategic poor pick, right?
Look, Torbjorn is viable. A viable hero right now. We won with him on Rialto.
You're not the Fran.
I'm not the fan, but Bird is. Bird can run the Torbjorn, and she's fantastic on it.
Yeah, she is good on that, I have to admit. But she's a very good projectile player in general, so she knows how to send those rivets out into people's heads. So, like, the thing about it is like, even if you're up close, you can do that little, what is it? He's so much shorter that aiming for his head, it makes it really, really difficult. So, and then he's going to
I think it's easier.
You think so? I don't
know. Because like he has that like little background thing, and you're like, oh, well, it's like centering it,
I think Torb overall is just one giant head hitbox.
I think
he just no matter where you shoot him, it's immediately gonna be a dink on that.
Yeah. Well, it'll be dependent on the maps, right? So, do we know what the maps are going to be for?
I can tell you in just a second. Next week's maps are going to be Lijiang, Junkertown, Volskaya, Eichenwald, and Busan.
God, those are awful maps. Sorry,
those are terrible maps.
This is going to be these are awful.
Okay, but our week 5 maps are Pog, Busan, Dorado, Hanamura, Kings, and Nepal. Bless. Those are going to be
the best for last.
Funnily enough,
you guys are just like, here, take a bunch of trash maps.
These are the same exact maps we faced the Quantum Charge on last time too.
Actually, Icon's decent. Icon 1st and 2nd are decent. Icon 3rd is just the yikes.
It's awful. It's the worst. It's the worst hybrid.
Love, you're on the admin team. I don't think you're allowed to be roasting yourselves up.
I'm not roasting the admin team. I'm just saying Eichenwald's not a good map. So they had to put it in there. Okay,
I disagree. I enjoy Eichenwald. I would say it's a much better hybrid map than like Numbani.
Okay. Well, you have really bad opinions, so it's fine.
Okay. Before this gets any spicier, even though I want you smile, let's go ahead and take a look at our community voted power ranking. It's almost like we actually care about your opinion. We don't, by the way.
Toxic hosts.
So I'm not toxic. I just need the views. There's a difference. So you guys expect Boosted, by the way, to keep their number 1 spot with Ghost Peppers as well, keeping their number 2 spot. However, you do expect the Megs to go ahead and overtake Yes for that 3rd. Yes, they expect to then move down to 4th, while Burn is going to go ahead and pop up 2 places to the 5th seed. Fierce Unicorns, while currently in 8th, I believe this is from... Oh, no, I think the standings are just a bit off here. Sorry. It's fine, though. Thanks, Irash. This was still amazing to be made. Yeah, everyone, real quick, sorry. Before I keep going, give a big shout out to Irash. Like, she. I didn't know. She works so hard. 80% of our graphics come from her. The other 20% come from Silent, and then Edix is like that 0.00001% that dumb kid in math class thinks is on 100. So yeah, that's Edix's contribution. I should really stop roasting him. He's gonna roast me up tomorrow.
Do you guys meet each other? Like,
what?
Do you guys meet each other again in the season?
No, we don't. We already met, and it was 3-2
So you're talking all this trash because of the fact that you don't meet them again.
They beat us. They beat us 3-2.
So
I want to meet them in the
and you're
playoffs.
talking trash. Oh my god.
I want to meet them in the playoffs. I'm so hyped. If we ever meet, it's gonna be so good.
You got to win before you have the right to talk all that stuff.
I know
about
all
boy
that trash,
Edix.
and you lost to him last time. What's going on?
Okay. I'm not taking this from someone who let Blinker be on this show.
you let Blinker be on the show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is your show, Prez.
Yeah.
It was all you love. I don't know what you're talking. Anyways. Alright, Wisdom OW is expected to be in the 7th seed, dropping down 1 from where they currently are. However, Olderwatch is expected to make a surprise appearance in the playoffs, as Bot Camp is expected to move down all the way to 11th place. Power Naps, however, is expected to take the 9th seed, just barely missing out on the playoffs, while Chinese Takeout Academy is expected to be a 10th seed team. Gold Gang is also expected to be tied for that 11th place, moving up quite a bit from where they previously were. Expandable Academy expected to move up 3 spots from their current last place to go ahead and take the 13th spot, tied with 15-16. And finally, VMT and Nevermore Academy are expected to end our Majors division in 15th and 16th place, respectively. So, I mean, definitely some interesting things. Hodo, what do you think is the most interesting / controversial pick here? Like, placement.
I don't think there's anything really too crazy. I think Gold Gang got placed where they got placed because nobody really knows and has actually seen them play. I think it's interesting to see Olderwatch as high as they are, because I think Power Naps is probably going to be that team that should probably be ranked a little higher. Wisdom OW is, I am not surprised it's 7th. So everything else pretty much sort of shakes out the way it should be. Yes, and Megs, you could make an argument for them to be switched, but everything else is pretty much right on the money.
All right. Well then, let's go ahead and look at our Minors division. You guys all expected Otter, Flashpoint, Expo, and TBA to keep their spots in 1st through 4th place, respectively. Actually, no. Expandable Odyssey is expected to take 3rd place by you guys. Wow. So that's 1 spot up from where they are, and that would bump TBA down a bit. However, I think after Flashpoint's shaky showing, we could see maybe Flashpoint and TBA switching spots. That'd be interesting to see. Quantum Charge is expected to make an appearance in the playoffs in that 5th spot, while Echo 6 is expected to beat out Blazing Pegasus for that final seed in the playoffs. Pentaviseron is expected to keep their 7th place, not looking too hot and just barely missing out on the playoffs. However, Blazing Pegasus is expected to be in 8th, while Greyhound, Solar, and Laker Shrimp do end us in that 9th and 10th seed. Very interesting to see Blazing Pegasus. Not many people have faith in them, it seems. Massive, what's your take?
I'm not surprised actually to see Blazing Pegasus. I don't think that they'll be below Pen 10, but I'm really not surprised to see just kind of like the vision of them dropping as much as it has. But I mean, Echo 6, I don't think they're as strong as they're being shown here to take that 6th spot. I think they're on a really uphill charge, especially considering they play Otters twice this stage. That's a really tough team to have to play twice. Overall,
I think just the math is also in Blazing Pegasus' favor too, because literally, like they pretty much need one win, I think, and it forces Echo 6 to win out in order to even get the spot. So, and Blazing Pegasus does still have Licorice Whip on the schedule. So,
yeah. So I want to say something quick about these rankings. I feel like these rankings are accurate in terms of like maybe the skill of these teams as of right now, but it's not an accurate playoff picture sort of ranking. It's like how good are these teams at the moment? Pinton, Viserion, and Blazing Pegasus probably around the same area. But yeah, yeah, Blazing Pegasus. I think what happens is if they win their one match against Licorice Whip and Echo 6 win their middle 3 matches against Quantum Charge, which is going to be their hardest one, Greyhound, and then Pinton, I think they're equal in terms of their win loss. But Pegasus did so well the first first stage that their map differential is like better. So they're gonna have to win like a lot of like 4-0s, and then Blazing Pegasus is gonna have to like lose 4-0s, and it's very hard for Echo 6 to make into the playoffs right now. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think they're the better team than Blazing Pegasus. So in that case, these rankings are correct.
yeah, and you're right. I mean, like currently as it sits, it's -19 for Echo 6 and -8 for Blazing Pegasus. So, I mean, if Blazing Pegasus lose 2 4-0s, then that puts them at -16. And
Right.
Echo 6 does have a way to sort of get back in there, but it's going to be super tough. I mean, they've got to play really, really well here in the next 2 weeks. 3 out of 4 is a minimum. So, and that is a tough go. And, so we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Well, that was quite an interesting ranking. I mean, I think there's nothing too unexpected, but it is still just interesting to see. So yeah, that was just, I don't know, pretty interesting to notice. Of course, we do have a lot of tough matches coming up this week. Without a doubt, we have, of course, the Megs versus Yes, I believe, is this week. Furious Unicorns is versus Megs. I mean, wow, Megs have a pretty tough schedule this week, honestly. Probably the toughest in the Majors division, I'd say.
Well, we'll see if
For the
they
week.
are if they're contenders or pretenders this week, as they
Contenders
say.
or pretenders.
Because some people think that they're a little bit overrated, and I've watched them play against Boosted, by the way, and whenever they play Boosted, Boosted just does so well against the Megs, and it's surprising to see them have such a good record.
But
seeing
it
how well
is
that they
boosted,
do. But
to be fair,
I know it's boosted, but still, it's you guys took Boosted to 3 or to 5 maps, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Good week for them to show people up and say, hey, we deserve to be top 3. So we'll see.
Alrighty then. Well, of course, Licorice Whip first Greyhound Solar match is happening right now. I'm gonna see if we can get a map update on it. But Hodo, tell me. Let's not talk about Furious Unicorns. I think I've fulfilled my quota now. Let's go ahead and talk about Burn. What do they have to do to maybe move up in the rankings and not have to face one of these tougher teams so early on?
Well, let's see. I'm looking at where Burn sort of stands now. They're a 5 seed. So, the thing about it is the way that the brackets sort of line up, they're going to end up, they need to drop, honestly, to avoid Boosted, because the 4-5 matchup plays the 1-8, if I remember right. So, or is it 3-6 actually plays 2? So that the way that the playoffs are sort of lined up, Burn either needs to lose a couple games and drop into 6th to avoid sort of Boosted and have a better draw, but then they would end up playing the Megs. I don't know. I think they're good where they are, honestly, because they play Yes, they'll play them tough, and then Girardi will have the team ready, and then it'll just be a matchup against Boosted to see if whether they can go. It's going to be a toss-up, so I don't know. Like, I don't think there's really any benefit for them moving up or moving down, honestly, based on their positioning.
All right, well that's definitely interesting. Of course, Burn. So again, well, like I said from the beginning, good old reliable Team Burn. Now Massive. Let's go ahead and talk about Quantum Charge. What do they have to do to move up in the rankings?
I don't know if I really want to give them too much because I play them this week. But I think they're gonna really have to focus on keeping that tight team comp and be able to be a little bit more flexible with everything they run. It seems that all of these hard teams that are not, especially minors, they're not going to be running just goats. We're going to be here. We've seen dive. We've seen some quad DPS on a couple maps. We've seen a lot of different comps from these teams. So I think we just really want to make sure that Quantum Charge is ready to flex to things other than just different flavors of goats.
Definitely. And of course, that kind of relates back to other teams such as the Megs, Boosted, Ghost Peppers, who all run these variation comps where it's not goats, but they're able to flex onto it, which is what matters. If you're able to take that goats v goats matchup, even if you're not the strongest, that's still really important in the long run. But I do think we're just about out of time. The Greyhound Solar matchup versus Liquid Shrimp is happening, but sadly it's not being casted. So make sure you guys check Match Chat, I believe it's called, in the Owlet Discord for that. I do hope you all did enjoy
Wait
this
a second,
one.
Wait a second. Whoa. I gotta stop you. Alright, so it is being streamed right now. It's not being casted, but it is being streamed by one of the members of Licorice Whip. So if you want to go take a peek-see at that, I would say go to twitch.tv/fancy_pansy. I will put it in the Owlet Twitch for you guys to go over to right meow if you want to watch that. Looks like they're currently on Temple of Anubis. I'm not sure who's winning what, but right now they're playing some defense. So go check it out there, twitch.tv/fancypansy.
Definitely. Alright, so yeah, go check out that link. It should be in the Twitch chat. I do hope you all did enjoy. This was The Nest. I'm Prez. That was Hodo. That was Massive. That was Love. Blinker was here for a short time. I roasted up Edicts for a bit. Uresh gave us amazing graphics. And SilentMarine, the man, the myth, the legend, produces his thing weekly. He's an amazing producer. Make sure you guys send him your love. And yeah, go check out that match. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. And we'll catch you guys all next week. See ya.
Bye-bye.